craziest, but probably the funnest time of the year in high school basketball. These two programs have been the cream of the crop in the girls' city league here in Boston.
A couple of things to play here. Now we got two interesting teams.
Soars again for the two-handed flush. Colby Upchurch out on the break. She gets the basket. There's the foul. Going for another three.
All for him. Once he gets a step in the lane, he can make it all the way to the hoop.
The Tech Boston Bears are the 2018 Boston City champions. Happy New Year, Boston, and welcome to Latin Academy High School in Dorchester as we open up our coverage of the 2019 BPS High School Basketball season. Tonight, we got a boys' game between the Madison Park Cardinals and the Latin Academy Dragons. Hello, everybody. I'm Pat Flaherty, joined by my partner, as always, Alan Platt. Alan, we got a new basketball season fresh here in Boston. These two teams are about 2 or 3 weeks in, but it's our first game of the season. A lot of it's sort of an open league right now. In years past, we've had some favorites. This year, a lot of good seniors graduated from a year ago, and now it's pretty open here in the city.
It was definitely unusual. There's so many seniors, and a lot of the coaches have made that point that not just their own personal teams, but across the city, like you just said, it was just a weird situation where you had so many seniors leaving. So tonight we basically have two of the younger teams just sort of trying to find their way.
That's right.
And that's a lot of work in season for these head coaches.
No question. And for the Madison Park Cardinals, they graduated 4 seniors who were 4 starters last year. One guy that is back from last season who was a starter a season ago is their point guard, Josh Monty Castro.
Well, Castro, even with Castro, I mean, 2 seasons ago, he wasn't even in the state.
That's right, he was in Florida.
Right, and so he came here, played last year, his first year, getting used to Boston, getting used to Madison Park. Now, obviously, he's played well enough that he's, like you said, he's actually their key guy right now. He handles the ball, he can score, he tries to set up his teammates as much as possible.
That's right.
To try to get a lot of assists. And head coach Dennis Wilson really depends on him to keep the turnovers down.
That's right. We'll see if he can do that here tonight. It looks like they're actually ready to go here at center court at Latin Academy High School. So it looks like we're going to get underway in just a second here. But Latin Academy, another team that lost a few seniors from a year ago, and they have a lot of younger guys, freshmen, sophomores, and juniors. One guy that's been a very consistent starter for them this season has been Nemo Stuppard, number 5. Yeah,
Nemo's a good athlete, really good athlete, up and down the floor a lot. He can score inside and out. Want to see if he can stay out of foul trouble so he can keep that offense on the floor for Latin Academy. You know, you look at the Dragons roster, Pat, you only see 1 senior listed. So we talk about youth, this is really going a little overboard.
Right from the jump, White, right from the jump.
You got Madison Park in the maroon uniforms with the gray trim, Latin Academy with the black uniforms and the gold trim as well. Both teams coming in with just 2 wins so far this season, and certainly this could be a game to sort of catapult them through the rest of the year. Starters from Madison Park got Castro, McLean, Thompson, Cassius, and Singleton. Meanwhile, for Latin Academy, we got Lawson, Santos, Stuppard, Ali, and Thompson. Makai Thompson doing the jumping duties for Latin Academy. He's that one senior that is back this season. Good size in the middle.
They'll depend on him a lot.
Dragons.
I mean, he'll get a lot of touches down low, especially against a team like Madison who doesn't really have a whole lot of size on this particular roster.
Antoine Singleton doing the jumping duties for the Cardinals. We're off and running here at Latin Academy. Madison controls the opening tap.
Looks like straight man-to-man for Latin Academy defensively. It's going to be a travel there.
That was Joshua Cassius trying to drive the paint.
Looked like he had an opening, but even though in man-to-man, it had good help defense by the Dragons to force the traveling violation.
Where we at? Use it. Keep moving it. Keep moving.
Dragons is sort of a motion offense. Now it's a long 3 that's well off the mark that time for Muhammad Ali. Castro quickly down the floor for Madison Park. Singleton tries to lay it down, and it's back with Latin Academy. Quick up the floor, they get it to the big fella, Thompson, but he couldn't finish underneath.
But not so easy on that one.
Jaden McLean inside the paint. Singleton gets stripped down low that time from Mason Lawson. Both teams having a tough time just hanging on to the ball.
Got some nerves. Like you said, it is early season. One team's played 4 games, one team's played 5, but just 2 wins. So they're, like I said, they're open. They're trying to find their way. A lot of times when you get a little over anxious, this is exactly what you get. A lot of turnovers, a lot of mistakes.
Off the up fake, McLean back to Castro. Josh Monty unable to convert. Rebound comes down to Thompson.
So it's one of a few good open shots we've seen in these first couple of minutes.
Lawson, good pass inside to Ali for the first bucket.
That was the pass made that one.
Tiano Santos with the assist for Latin Academy.
Trying to go inside. Madison Park, even though they're a little undersized, still want to post.
McLean tried to feed it inside, stolen away that time by Lawson. Lawson with a 3-on-3. And that's going to be off of Nemo Stuppard back to Madison Park.
I'll tell you, we have 5 more turnovers than points. We only have 1 basket so far here in the first couple of minutes. Guys will settle down. Some full court pressure here to get a 2-2-1 zone press.
Drive there from Madison, shot no good. And the rebound comes down to Stuppard. He gets it poked away by the Cardinals. Another turnover by Madison, 3-on-2 for Latin Academy. Ali again underneath. And Muhammad's going to head to the free throw line.
Like the way Santos that time set up the pass for his teammate Ali.
We talked about the youth for Latin Academy. That was a sophomore to sophomore connection right there.
Yeah, nice bounce pass and forced the foul. You have all these young players. They have a lot of activity, a lot of adrenaline running around up and down, and sometimes you just don't stay under control enough. The other thing about young teams too, you can also substitute pretty freely to see which combinations might actually click as the season goes on. You got 2 veteran coaches. You have Dennis Wilson over 30 years, and even Danny Bunker has like 13 14
or so,
years.
yeah. Right. Both been very successful. Obviously, most people know about Dennis's success at Madison Park. Thompson.
Yeah, he just put that shot up. He's the biggest player out there, the widest and tallest. He's just got to get the ball and go right to the backboard.
Now we're going to get a timeout here with it's like 5:15 left to go here in the first quarter, and we know that this is how both these teams like to play, but a lot of turnovers here to start off. Our sideline reporter, John Scooters, we're going to check in with him. He's got an update for us. John, what do you have?
Thanks, Pat. Well, great matchup between 2 of these Boston City League teams. For Madison Park, the Cardinals, it's been a year of transition for Coach Dennis Wilson. A lot of new starters, a lot of standouts from last year are gone. And for the Cardinals, the issue has been fundamentals, where they have been critically debilitating for the squad so far this year. They missed 20 free throws earlier this year against Cristo Rey, in a game they lost by only 3. They then lost 17 free throws in a matchup against Quincy North, in a game they also lost by only 3. They'll need to shore up those fundamentals today and beyond if they hope to bounce back and get Coach Wilson that 400th victory with which he is only 3 away. Back to you.
Hey, thanks very much, John. And Madison Park out of the timeout. They work an open shot. Singleton off the mark with that 3. Rebound comes down to Latin Academy. Lawson going to slow it up for the Dragons. Three-pointer on the way, off the mark, that time from Abdullahi Aiden. Aiden, one of the better three-point shooters for Latin Academy, coming off the bench. Castro on the drive. Put back, no good. Tap in, that good that time. Second time's a charm for Antoine Singleton.
Singleton, good job. He stuck with it.
Stuppard lost his footing a little bit, slid his feet, so that'll go back to Madison Park.
This is a quick sub for the big fella. I think the coaches just wanted to tell him, listen, take your time down low. You get the size advantage. Just try to score in the post.
Madison had a wide open layup underneath.
So he had two teammates open.
Yeah,
either one of them.
Michelle McConico with a nice cut towards the rim, but couldn't get the pass there. Good backdoor there for Latin Academy, and Stuppard gets his first bucket.
Yeah, we talked about him. I'm surprised that we haven't seen him really handling the ball that much so far, but we'll probably see it as the game goes along.
Another turnover for
young
the Cardinals.
players, it's there in coaches. I think one of the things that might be tough for Dennis Wilson, they won their first 2 games, and so you might get a false sense of you might have more than you really think.
Right.
But now they've lost 3 in a row, and here they are really struggling in this one. So it's going to be a process of trying to figure out which combinations are going to work. Nice drive.
Great drive there from Muhammad Ali, who's now got 4 points for Latin Academy. Coach Wilson
calls a
timeout.
He just had 2 really bad things. He had a wide open player, had the ball thrown over his head, then come down this way. Like you just said, Muhammad just took that straight to the bucket.
Here's another look at the drive by Muhammad.
As soon as he got it, just used that length of his.
Coach Bunker likes how he really runs the floor well for a big guy. About 6'3" is Muhammad Ali. And you see the youth for Latin Academy. Coach Bunker mentioned to us earlier in the week, he really likes what he's got with these young guys. Last year, Latin Academy was really hurt by transfers. They had a lot of guys who kind of went to prep schools and went to a couple different schools outside the city that were big-time contributors for varsity. They had a tough year last year. And then this year they have all these young guys that played together on the JV squad.
JV team, yeah, and that in a way, you'd be surprised. People say, "Oh well, JV," but the fact of the matter is, if you have guys who are playing together in JV, then they learn the system, learn the offense and defense, and they have some familiarity. You just hope they like each other. that always helps too.
Castro now going to slow things up for Madison. Working on Santos.
There's nothing there. They're in a 2-3, and Madison has not recognized it. They still think it's man-to-man.
Jaden McLean gets fouled on his way to the paint.
Yeah, so that's a perfect example of what I'm talking about with young players. Now, coming out of that timeout, you had Latin Academy go to a zone, a 2-3 zone. But Madison Park was still playing as if it was still man-to-man. Like, he forced the action, he got bailed out on the foul. But, again, it's one of the frustrations of not having a real veteran out there or a senior captain. I mean, Castro's doing the best he can, but the rest of his guys are just young and learning.
McLean gets 1 out of 2 from the free throw line, and quickly up the floor goes Santos. Stuppard able to hang on to it. And Ali is then tripped up out on the wing.
Yeah, we saw Ali in BNBL.
That's right.
Those long arms of his. Again, the guys are starting to settle down a little bit. But I know both these coaches would love to just see them run some good offense. Just like there. Can't get a better shot than that one.
And Thompson just unable to hit it. That's going to go back to Madison Park.
I know, actually, Madison kicked it out, so stay with
excuse me,
Academy.
Yeah. He'll stay with the Dragons.
Yeah, it looked like it was going to be Madison Park's ball.
Stuppard, top of the key, off the up fake, and it's deflected inside. Here comes McLean. Off the jump stop, they're going to call that a travel. Yeah, he took an extra couple of steps before the jump stop.
Good idea, but again, you've got to recognize when the defense slides over. So, reach in there.
Coach Wilson not a fan of that call. So Castro with the foul.
It's been sort of some physical play has been. I mean, there's been so much going on. Even with 2 officials, it's hard to catch everything. But plays out in the open like that usually get calls. Yeah. See, that time Nemo just didn't recognize that it was closed off. Nice steal.
Poked away by Santos. Santos all the way down the floor. Gets that one to go.
Hey, hometown rim, or home school rim, I should say.
Castro back the other way, throws it off the window.
Again, he forced that, but that was still a good play because he was actually trying to draw a foul. Even though they're keeping this frantic pace, they're a little more under control, getting a few more points on the board. A couple of guys out of place.
Stuppard for three. Nemo knocks it down. He's got 5 points now for the Dragons.
You know, it's interesting, Patrick. You picked Nemo as their key guy, and you were right, because even though he's not on the ball a lot, he sets picks. He comes and tells his younger players where to go on the floor, and then when he has his chance, he tries to get to the basket.
You know, not seeing this Latin Academy JV team last year. As they see a corner three from Martinez, that's around the rim and out. Not seeing this JV team last year. Stuppard was a sophomore on the JV team last year, now a junior. You wonder if he was sort of the leader of the JV team as a sophomore last year.
More than likely, that's a good point. Good point. More than likely he was. See, a lot of times people underestimate junior varsity. Sometimes it's a development situation for kids who just have not played the sport. Both, you know, it's basketball, football, baseball, whatever.
Right.
And even though you may be talented enough to be a varsity player, if you don't have the experience and don't have the familiarity with the sport, a lot of times you're better off playing JV, playing a lot of minutes, and then really learning the game. That might have been the case with Nemo. You look at him and you can tell he knows how to play.
It's going to be another foul on, I believe, Jashmani Castro.
They had a good trap. Wow, that's a tough one.
That's two on Jashmani.
So they can't, Dennis can't afford to lose him. He's going to have to take him out now with 2 fouls.
Lawson. Tough finish, couldn't get it to go. Muhammad Ali with the offensive rebound.
That was all long arms.
Good swing. Lawson again. And that's going to stay with Latin Academy.
Yes, this is a key time here, Pat, because Castro's coming out of the game. He's Madison Park's main ball handler and one of the good defensive players, too.
Constantine Thompson checks in for Castro.
See, now because Castro's gone, Madison Park's going to a 2-3 zone. You get some open shots either in the corner or on the wing.
Stuppard from the other side, that time off the front rim. Five seconds left to go here in the quarter. Madison unable to hang on to the ball. And that is going to do it for the first quarter here at Latin Academy High School in Dorchester. The Dragons on top of the Madison Park Cardinals, 11-5, 6-point lead for the home team. We'll be right back with the second quarter here on Game of the Week. Right after these words, folks, don't go away.
Green hat, red hat, oops. Red shirt, blue shirt, yellow shirt, oops. Yellow pants, red pants, green pants, oops.
Welcome back to Latin Academy High School in Dorchester for our first game of the week of the 2019 BPS High School Basketball season. And folks, if you want to follow us on social media, you can follow us on our Facebook page. Go to facebook.com/Game of the Week Boston. All of our videos and updates and pictures are updated. You can also follow us on Twitter at Boston City TV. And if you want to tweet at us, use the hashtag BostonGOW. Just about ready to start the second quarter here at Latin Academy High School. Dragons on top of Madison Park, 11-5. Cardinals will start off the second quarter with the basketball. And a lot of turnovers in that first quarter, Allen. We'll see if these two teams can clean it up here in the second.
Well, that's the key. And Madison Park has a tougher job because they're going to do it without their point guard.
Nice drive
That's
that
a good
time by Madison Park's Shalil McConico.
That was good recognition that time. In the first quarter, we saw a lot of forcing the ball to the basket. That time, like you said, McConico split the two defenders, drew the foul.
McConico knocks down the first. Makai Thompson coming back in. Muhammad Ali going to head to the bench. I believe that foul was on him.
It was, yeah. So he's sitting down. I tell you, with that length that Ali has, he's only a sophomore. So Danny Bunker has a couple of years to work with him. The energy he shows, the length.
Stuppard with another three. That one off the back rim. Benny Martinez chases down the offensive rebound. Santos well off the mark with that three. Out on the break comes Bakari Walker. He was whistled for the travel right there for Madison Park.
Walker was looking for a foul. There was some contact, but it was both ways.
Good drive that time from Mason Lawson, who gets his first bucket.
Yeah, that's just bad defense. Young players. Everyone expected someone else to step up.
Walker skips it over. Three-pointer off the mark that time. Good battle for the loose ball. That's going to stay with Madison Park.
Madison Park's had 4 wide-open three-point shots and just can't hit any of them.
Antoine Singleton coming back in the ball game for the Cardinals. Off the crossover, good drive from Madison. Again, basket no good. Singleton can't get the follow-up. Excuse me, that was Conoco.
They're over-anxious.
And a poke steal that time by Santos. Lays it down to Thompson. Benny Martinez, corner three, short with that one, might have been deflected. Lawson on the drive. Martinez comes away with a loose ball. And a 3-second violation on Latin Academy, so that'll go back to Madison Park.
I'll tell you, Pat, I'm really surprised they're not going just inside to Thompson. Just let him post up because he's got that wide body. He's going to draw a lot of contact.
McLean. Singleton tries for the putback, gets it to go.
Good job. Good to see him rewarded for that effort. That's the second time down that he was able to get his hands on offensive rebounds.
Seven rebounds, 5 offensive for Antoine Singleton.
He's working hard in there. He just hasn't been able to really put anything down.
Somehow, McLean found Singleton across the court, but it's poked away by Lawson. Lawson all the way to the bucket, gets the basket and the foul.
Yeah, Singleton, we're applauding his effort rebounding, but he shouldn't be putting the ball down with the little guards buzzing around like that. That one, he could have just picked it up and gone straight to the basket. This is after the steal. Nice finish. He knows the contact's coming, so just makes an effort to spin it off the backboard.
And Lawson cannot get the free throw to go. Stolen away by Benny Martinez. Santos tried that loft off the backboard, but we got a jump ball now. It's going to stay with Latin Academy. Now Abdullahi Aiden back in the game for Latin Academy. He's a good three-point shooter, as their other good three-point shooter, Benny Martinez, heads to the bench.
We're used to seeing Latin Academy make a lot of threes also. That's in their system. There's another one.
Aiden buries that one for the Dragons. Latin Academy lead now up to double digits. They're on top by 10. Ball goes out of bounds, back to Latin Academy. Aiden again, that time off the back rim, gets his own rebound. Lawson now for three. That one around the rim and out. Santos now for a try. And now Coach Wilson wants a timeout. 4:31 left to go in the second quarter.
Yeah, you can forget about the score, Pat. I mean, from Dennis Wilson's standpoint, there's nothing going well on either end of the floor. He's getting out rebounded. They're getting all kinds of offensive rebounds, Latin Academy. And on their offense, Madison Park came and catch the ball. I mean, I think he has to roll the dice and get Castro back in the game, because Castro at least was able to calm his teammates down and get something going in terms of trying to run a half-court offense. Because at this point, it's just up and down mistakes.
If you're Coach Wilson, do you tell, because Castro, he's in foul trouble because he was taking chances right around half court. Do you tell him to maybe defensively play off the ball so that he's not in those type of situations?
You could do that, or they went to his zone anyway, so they could stay in the zone and try to hide him that way to keep him out of foul trouble. But he's definitely the key guy. I remember we saw him last year, but because they had like 4 seniors last year.
That's right, including Dominic Jones.
Right, yeah. So
Castro
didn't really have a whole lot of pressure on him or responsibility. But now it's totally flipped over to the other side. I mean, he's the guy to try to make this team run.
So out of the timeout, Madison Park. Comes Jaden McLean. Three-pointer on the way and good that time from Jakari Walker.
Yeah, players always feel good coming out of a timeout and getting a good shot.
Catch there from Stupper, but it's poked away by Madison. Here come the Cardinals. Singleton gets it poked away. Lawson up to Santos. Santos back to Lawson, and he couldn't hang on to the pass. Call foul inside as Osasu Ogarin.
Good aggressive move.
Was whistled for the contact.
McConaughey, 44, trying to get in there with those wide shoulders of his. Good block, but there was some contact.
McConaughey can't hit the first. Substitution for Madison Park as Antoine Singleton heads back to the bench. Josh McLean heads into the ball game.
Yeah, Singleton had a tough time. Even with his rebounding, in the open floor, he just can't hold the ball.
McConaughey knocks down that one. We have 18-10. They have 18-12 here at Latin Academy High School. Make that 18-11 for us. We'll see if we can get that corrected at halftime. Latin Academy.
Now it's a 1-2-2 zone for Madison Park. They're trying to take away some of those three-point shots.
Runner is good that time from Abdullahi Aiden.
Yeah, and then the bench was yelling out the shot clock, so he knew he had to get a shot off.
Clean going to the basket, and another foul that time on Wogerin.
I'll tell you right now, that's the only chance Madison Park has to stay in the game. The way they're playing is driving to the basket and looking for fouls. That was a foul, yeah. He actually got held before he even went up. But they've got to start making more of these free throws.
That free throw no good, so the score in the gym is correct, and it's now correct on our scoreboard. 20-12, Latin Academy on top. McLean 1 out of 2 again from the free throw line, so a 7-point lead now for Latin Academy. 3 minutes left to go in the second quarter.
Good patience. See, again, Bunker's out here yelling out the shot clock.
Deep threes buried that time from Abdullahi Aiden.
That's the second one since he came off the bench.
That was from way downtown. He's got 8 points now for the Dragons. That's going to stay with Madison Park. Back to a double-digit lead for Latin Academy. They're now up 23-13.
Yeah, part of the problem with Madison Park players, it seems like they all dribble with their heads down, trying to get to the basket.
We'll take that time for Madison Park as once again Jakari Walker getting fouled on his way to the rim.
Again, see, that was a nice move with the crossover. He forced the big fella to come out to help. Lou's going to take some contact, but he gets to the free throw line.
And Walker knocks down the first. Jakari's been pretty aggressive for Madison
Well,
Park.
that's
One of the
his
few
game.
guys
Oh, yeah.
that's able to take it to the rim like that.
See, with him and Castro out there at the same time, then they have something. They can swing the ball from side to side.
Walker no good on the second. Free throws have been a problem this season for Madison Park. 2 minutes left to go here in the second quarter. 9-point lead for Latin Academy. Ball poked away by the Cardinals. Constantine back up to the top of the key. Conoco able to finish off the window. Good swing as Aiden gets another good look. That one around the rim and out.
Good chance for Madison to make a little run here.
Jaden McLean.
Mismatch inside.
Josh McLean now he's got to pull it back out for the Cardinals. Jaden had nowhere to go with it. That's going to stay with Madison Park.
You're right, Pat. Absolutely nowhere. I think he was expecting a teammate to cut. No one did. He was just stuck up there.
Sort of got bailed out by Latin Academy knocking it out of bounds. McLean had a good look. Two seconds left in the shot clock. And it's going to be a shot clock violation on the Cardinals.
The problem with that, again, I mentioned having your head down when you dribble. Also, none of your teammates even told you that the shot clock was winding down.
Lawson short with that one. Tapped out to Santos. Thompson off the up fake, a little too far from the basket for that move.
Now, I was just going to say, he came out of the post to get the ball, but...
Nice finish
move.
there by Nemo Stupper.
It's like he's the kind of player who just takes advantage of anything that happens to him.
Lawson gets the basket and one again. Second and one of the half for Mason Lawson.
I'm starting to wonder, does Castro have 3 fouls or 2? Because once he sat down, he hasn't been back since. Nice finish again by Latin Academy.
Thompson there for the putback, gets blocked inside by McConico. And it's going to be a travel by Makai Thompson.
Yeah, when he got the ball the second time, he was a little farther under the backboard than he realized.
Pass inside, Madison unable to handle, and that is going to do it for the first half here at Latin Academy as the Latin Academy Dragons lead the Madison Park Cardinals 27-18.
They've got a very frustrated Madison Park team walking off the floor. A couple of the kids sort of barking at each other.
I'm sorry, 27-16 for the Dragons. 11-point lead for Latin Academy here at the half. And we knew coming in that both these teams like to play up and down. We certainly saw that in the first half. A lot of turnovers. Latin Academy seemed to clean it up for most of the second quarter.
Right,
Madison,
exactly.
it took them a little bit longer.
I don't think Madison's gotten there yet. They haven't gotten where they want to get. A lot of that's because most of that second quarter, Castro sat out with foul trouble. But just simple things, like I was mentioning, it's noticeable how a lot of the young Madison Park players just dribble with their heads down, not really looking up for open teammates, and not recognizing when a double team is coming behind them for a steal, or when a double team is coming to take away a shot. Whereas, like you were saying, Latin Academy, that second quarter, got a bunch of open shots. They had number 10 came off the bench, hit 2 back-to-back threes, then a nice drive to the basket.
That's right.
8 points in a matter of 3 minutes.
That's right.
So everything was different. Now it's a 11-point game for Latin Academy.
Right, and their head coach, Dan Bunker, is with our sideline reporter, John Skudras. John, take it away.
Courtside with Coach Dan Bunker of Latin Academy. And Coach, good start here in the first half of your team. You took advantage of some of the weaknesses of Madison Park, their inability to shoot, and your strengths, which is the fast break, and you've turned that into some quick points. What do you like from your team here in the first half of play?
Well, I thought our defense did a good job creating turnovers, and then I thought actually our offense, we had a lot of empty possessions, turnovers, and we got some good looks. I think we're a better shooting team than we shot in the first half, so hopefully we can improve on that in the second half. I know Madison Park is a very well-coached team who's going to come back out in the second half and really compete against us.
Absolutely. Now, in that first half, we saw some of your strengths in the front court with Mekhi Thompson and Muhammad Ali. Ali, a couple of nice dribble drives, and Thompson getting that offensive rebound off the free throw late in the half. Is that something you guys want to exploit? Because you do have the size advantage down low over the Cardinals.
Yeah, it's weird for you to say that because Madison Park normally has these big monster kids. I've been coaching for 12 years, and this is the smallest team Madison's had. So it's nice to have that size, and that we're trying to take advantage of that.
Absolutely. Second half, any key adjustments you guys want to make, or steady as she goes with the big lead so far?
Take care of the ball. We got to take care of the ball better, and I think we got to hit shots. We got open looks. We just got to knock them down. We're better shooters than that.
We'll see what happens. Thanks, Coach. Good luck in the second half. That's Coach Bunker for Latin Academy, his team with a double-digit lead heading into the second half of play. We talked a lot about the backcourts coming into play today, but it's the front courts who may bear fruition, especially for Latin Academy. Of course, for the Dragons today, of course, Mekhi Thompson and Muhammad Ali both putting together solid defensive performances, forcing the Cardinals into bad shots and forcing them to miss easy shots down low, layups, and the like. It'll be interesting to see if Thompson and Muhammad Ali can continue to fly like a butterfly and sting like a bee for the Dragons the rest of the way. More from courtside in the second half, but for now, let's go back to Pat and Alan.
Yeah, thanks very much, John, and certainly Coach Bunker going to be happy with his team's effort. They were out-rebounding Madison. They were getting to the loose balls, I think, a little bit quicker than Madison Park
no
there
doubt.
in the first half.
No doubt, and he has to be happy. I mean, because he's up 11, and just like he said twice, his team hasn't even shot that well.
That's right.
Because they're here. This is their home gym. You practice here. He knows how the kids can shoot much better than what they saw in the first half. So this could, in his mind, probably easily be a 20-point game.
That's right. We'll see if Latin Academy can extend their lead when they come out for the third quarter, or if Madison Park can clamp down and try to cut into this lead early in the second half. Folks, we're going to head to break. When we come back, we'll have our halftime stats and a couple of highlights from the first half here at Latin Academy High on Game of the Week. See you in a few.
Foster safety. Foster hope. Foster joy. Foster curiosity. Foster support. Become a foster parent, because every parent makes a difference. Foster, Massachusetts.
Hey, look, it's those guys. Are you good to drive?
I'm fine.
How many did you have?
I should be fine.
You should be.
Go and step out of the vehicle for me.
See ya, buddy. Good luck.
So turns out, buzz driving and drunk driving, they're the same thing, and it costs around $10,000. So not worth it.
First time I tried biking, it was laying around my mom's house. And then I kept taking them whenever I could get them. I didn't know they'd be this addictive. I didn't know how far I'd go to get more.
Opioid dependence can happen after just 5 days. Know the truth, spread the truth.
So there you are, shuffling through a stack of resumes, and you come to mine. This is it. First impression. My way in. But can my resume show you how I truly stand out? Like that I was studying, going to night school while working 2 jobs just to help my parents pay for groceries. Or being the first one to always step up. No, that's something you just can't put on paper. Look beyond the resume and discover new ways to develop great talent that is dedicated, hardworking, and determined like me.
Do you want to retire like a champ? Just like legendary basketball star Uncle Drew?
Don't do him like that, Uncle Drew.
You're already acing the game. You've got your dream ride.
Don't be slamming my door.
Sorry about that.
You just did the same. Gotta get the boys.
Your dream vacation and your dream team. And now you can make your retirement just as legendary.
I get buckets.
Get the tips you need to get on track at aceyourretirement.org.
Awkward. I'm the awkward silence. You try to avoid me, then there I am again.
But an awkward silence can be a great thing.
Like Kelly here's about to demonstrate.
You haven't really been yourself lately. Are you okay?
Find out how you can help a friend with their mental health at seizetheawkward.org.
Queen is just my everything.
His smile did it. His smile, his eyes, his knowledge. My landlord, he decided that he wanted me to move based on the fact that I was transgender. Let's just respect people in everyday life for just being human.
No doubt you're going places, young lady.
Thank you. And thank you for the interview as well. I can imagine it was the last thing that you wanted to do after such a long campaign meeting.
You really are a very intelligent young woman. You're very smooth.
You're very smooth yourself.
You have no idea.
Why is my son having trouble in school?
Finding lowest airfare to Istanbul.
No, I'm tired of fighting with my son over his homework.
Home, walk, restaurant. Need a review?
No. He's smart, but his mind wanders.
7 wonders of the world.
Why don't you understand me?
I do. I was trying to show how Connor feels every day. Redirecting to understood.org.
Join parents and experts at understood.org, a free online resource about learning and attention issues to help your child thrive.
Welcome back to Latin Academy High School in Dorchester for Game of the Week. Right now, the Latin Academy Dragons on top of the Madison Park Cardinals, 27-16 here at the half. And folks, we're going to take a look at the halftime stats as Latin Academy win right now with an 11-point lead. And the Dragons, first of all, we're going to start off with Madison Park. We'll take a look at their halftime stats.
Yeah, not a whole lot. I mean, they only got 16 points in the half. Walker and Singleton both with 4. We talked about Singleton's rebounding. He has 7 rebounds, but a tough time handling the ball. McConaughey with 6 rebounds, and then not many assists, just 3 between both Thompson and Walker.
Let's take a look at Latin Academy's halftime stats.
Yeah, a little better. 8 points for them, and then Lawson with 6. You get 4 rebounds for both Ali and for Lawson, and you have 5 assists between Thompson and Lawson. So, Matt, like you said, the second quarter, you saw Latin Academy really get more into their game, a lot easier and quicker than Madison Park did. I mean, Madison Park, Dennis Wilson's been around so many years. He knows he just has to funnel all that energy and excitement. It's like an override of adrenaline. I mean, they were moving around, running around, but you got to funnel that so that you have control. You can catch the ball. You can take the shot that you can make. You can finish on rebounds. You can finish on tip-ins. It's been very few and far between for Madison Park so far. I mean, 11 points and a half. I mean, that's why these guys were tripping at each other going off at halftime. I mean, it's a little bit embarrassing. You get a decent-sized crowd here on a Friday night. Nobody wants to look bad out in front of a big crowd.
You know, Coach Bunker mentioned at the half he hopes his team shoots it a little bit better here in the second half. One player who did shoot it well in the first half was Abdoulaye Aiden. He had a couple of big threes for Latin Academy.
Yeah, he came off the bench, and he made 2. Then he had a nice drive also. He made 2 long threes. That's the drive. He knew the shot clock was winding down. He was able to get that flip shot off, score. And here's a mine either side. He can make them from both wings.
That one was big. That was a deep 3 there for Aiden as he was able to knock down a couple of threes for Latin Academy. We're just about ready to start the third quarter here at Latin Academy High School as the Dragons with an 11-point lead over the top of Madison Park. We'll see if they can keep that going here at the start of the third quarter.
Yeah, as a coach, Danny Bunker's thinking, wow, we haven't even shot well. We're up 11. So if Madison Park keeps struggling on their offense, then we can get our guys to start to shoot a little bit close to normal. We'll be in really good shape. We're starting up man-to-man for Latin Academy. When they stay in man, they do a good job of helping out.
They had a good feed inside, but I think too many passes there for Conoco. He probably could have gone up with it.
Should have just gone up with it. That play was for him. I'm not sure why he decided to pass it.
Thompson going to work now, back up top to Santos. Ali going to take the 3, short with it. And the rebound for Madison Park comes down to Joshua Cassius. Here comes Castro, fresh off the bench. He's got 3 fouls. He had to sit for the majority of the second quarter. And now Coach Wilson wants an early timeout here in the third with 7:08 left to go.
Yeah, I think
not even a minute gone by.
Well, he saw something. Clearly one of his players, or maybe even more than one, were in the wrong spots. Because Castro made a decent drive inside into the paint and made a pass out to the corner, but it seemed like someone should have been cutting to the basket. And nobody did.
Our sideline reporter John Skudras has an update for us. John, what do you have?
Thanks, Pat. A lot of people talking about Coach Wilson for Madison Park and whether or not he'll still have it after this year if he reaches 400 wins to continue his coaching career. Well, one thing is for sure, despite his experience and age, he's got a lot of energy. I went outside for some air at halftime, and you could hear Coach Dennis Wilson grilling his team from the locker room through the windows outside, telling them they've had this experience against EC, against Westy, against Quincy North, where they were down a lot and came back to only lose by 3. This is a team that has experience of large deficits and experience of coming back. We'll see if the rest of this game bears fruition for this Madison Park squad. Back to you.
Thanks very much, John. No surprise that we could hear Dennis from down the hallway.
Oh, yeah, Dennis always had those pipes. Yeah, always had those.
Booming voice for the Madison Park head coach at 397 career wins in his 32 years as head coach at Madison Park. As Jaden McLean stops and pops for the Cardinals. Poke steal here for Madison. And the layup is good that time from Joshua Cassius.
A little bit of what John was talking about with Madison. It's a real loose double team.
And almost a steal there for the Cardinals as this press is
it's a soft press too. It's not even a hard press,
right?
Which is unusual to see Latin Academy have some easy turnovers.
Thompson. No good from the elbow, and that's going to be an over-the-back foul on Nemo Stupper. You know, one thing that this Latin Academy team sort of lacks is that really good guy that they can give the ball to in tough situations and late-game situations.
Yeah, they're trying to develop Nemo into that, but you're right. He's probably just not quite there yet.
Short with the 3 is Madison Park. Good hustle.
This is what I was talking about at halftime. The energy's there for Madison Park. They just got to convert it into points.
McLean on the drive, and he was shoved over near the baseline. And going back to Latin Academy, not having that guy over the past probably 7 years or so, they had that Rayshawn Miller, who's had a really nice college career. They had him since his freshman season, 4 years of varsity basketball. Then they had Victor Monegro the past 3 years as their starting point guard. So they've had about 7 years of very good point guard play where they could give it to those two guys and they could either score
and get something
or make
good.
plays.
Oh, yeah. And what happens is, never mind how it makes the coach feel good, the team, the players feel like, okay, I'll play my role, I'll do my part, and then he'll, get us to, to the end. And you're right, a young team that has not identified that particular type of go-to guy, especially in high school basketball. You only have 5 guys out there. So if you have one who can really, like you said, take control especially on the offensive ends, that makes all the difference in the world. I mean, tonight's game, Madison Park is not as badly as they've played. They're not really out of the game because they have the energy. They definitely have the energy to defend, to create some turnovers, and I think that's exactly what we're seeing the Latin Academy huddle talk about. Let's take care of the ball. Let's run our offense. Let's get some good shots.
Both teams in search of their 3rd win of the season. Madison winning their first 2 games against East Boston and West Roxbury, then losing, I think they've actually lost 4 in a row. They
lost to Fenway, yeah.
They also lost to Cristo Rey.
Okay, they had that before then, you're right.
Earlier in the season as well. Latin Academy actually has 3 losses on the season, 2 wins. As McLean tries a crazy up and under. Putback is no good inside. Good job by McLean to get the loose ball. That time, Jaden just unable to put it down.
That's
and
just
the
bad
rebound
luck.
comes
That's
down to
nice.
Benny Martinez.
That was a nice move that time.
Stolen away by Madison. Layup is good that time from Joshua Cassius.
Well, I think all the noise at halftime in their locker room that clearly helped. They've come out 6-0 to start this half. Brought themselves back within 6 points. Good action underneath, good rebounding.
That's McLean who's going to try for a triple. That no good. A rebound comes down to Lawson. Lawson for 3 off the back iron. Thompson inside to Stupperton. It's blocked out of bounds by Cassius, who's had a nice couple of minutes here in the 3rd quarter.
He's one of those high energy guys we talk about. Good steal by Castro.
Quickly up to Castro, but it's poked away by Lawson. 2 point guards going at it. Now it's going to go back to the Madison Park Cardinals as Lawson stepped out of bounds.
Watch this defense, excellent. Good clean strip. Just couldn't quite control the ball.
Clean with the jumper, buries it for Madison Park. Back to a 4-point lead. Score here in the gym has 28-24. Thompson straight to the basket. He's going to get 2 free throws.
Watch the big fella. There's the foul by McConaughey.
Thompson no good on the first.
You see the drive again with McConaughey sort of forced to commit that foul to prevent the layup.
Thompson hits the second. We believe we have the correct score, 28-24. Madison had an 8-0 run before that 1 free throw for Makai Thompson. First steal that time for Madison Park, and we got a foul right around half court.
Again, that's Cassius. For the most part, you really don't want cross-court passes normally, but especially with a guy like Cassius hanging around.
And this has been a much different second half here for Madison Park. They've created a lot of turnovers. They've been able to finish. And
one of those situations,
cut into this lead here.
I'd say, as a coach, you just never know when it's going to start to click.
Off the up fake. It's Castro going to work. And lost it inside the paint. Here comes Santos. Looking for Lawson. Lawson scores inside.
Again, unselfish play.
Deep three that time for Madison, but it's off the back rim. A block inside for Muhammad Ali. But then it's poked away by McLean. McLean straight to the bucket.
Good job. That time he avoided the contact, got away from the defender. Lawson was trying to get a block shot, but nice layup.
Cut back down to a 4-point lead for Latin Academy, 30-26 here with just over 3 minutes left to go in the third quarter. Got to feed it inside to Thompson.
Good job,
poked away again.
He's under there. There you go.
And it's blocked by Ali. They're going to call a foul on Muhammad Ali.
Yeah. Give McConaughey credit. Not only did he have the poke steal, but he sprinted down the courts and get himself open for the layup attempt. After he makes the KO, there you go. Oh, Carlisle's tough. Yeah. I say Madison Park hurt themselves in both halves with some poor free throw shooting.
Knocking down the second. Madison's struggles at the free throw line have been one of their biggest Achilles heels so far at the start of this season. They missed 20 free throws against Cristo Rey earlier in the year. Or well below 50% against North Quincy earlier in the year as well. A little bit better tonight, 6 for 10 from the free throw line.
Yeah.
It's going to be a jump ball that I believe go back to Latin Academy.
Yeah. That's the frustrating part. You're playing pretty well, like you said, and just dribble the ball up court and you just lose it. It's like no defensive pressure, nothing.
Dragons with just 3 points so far here in the third quarter. Thompson carving out space inside. Yeah. He's able to score.
Now, is that the first time they actually went into him on the low post? I mean,
just his third point of the game.
They'll go by him. They'll go by him. Yeah. Thompson doesn't have the foot speed if you have McConaughey or any other big guys try to go baseline.
Castro coming back in for the Cardinals.
Wouldn't be surprised if Castro has come back in with instructions. Let's be a little more offensive minded. Let's get some shots up. Assists are fine, but
a high pass that Josh McLean couldn't hang on to from Jakari Walker. 5-point lead for the Cardinals, for the Dragons, excuse me.
Feels like the Collins got the way they played this half. They've done a really good job.
Well, the roles have been reversed so far. Santos for three, well off the mark. Santos gets it back. Santos inside, skips it over to Aiden. Now back to Lawson for three. Off the front rim, Aiden gets the loose ball, loses it underneath. Now it's Santos. Back to Ali for three, buries it for the Dragons.
I'll tell you, the way that Madison Park has had such a tough time just grabbing the ball, that sequence, they must feel like the ball's warped or something. None of those guys can pick it up.
Dragons create a turnover. Short shot for Santos, no good for Aiden. Ali on the putback, no good. And then he gets fouled underneath.
I'm telling you, for a sophomore, that length that he has, look at how long his arms are. If he ever puts any bulk to that body, because he has decent timing, that was all the length of those arms to get those two chances.
Ali unable to hit the first. He's now got 7 rebounds, 5 on the offensive boards for Ali. Substitution for Madison Park as Constantine Thompson comes back in. Josh McLean heads to the bench. Ali 0 for 2 from the line, but Lawson comes away with the offensive rebound. Aiden for 3, rattles it home.
Same as before, he came off the bench in the first half and hit 2 back-to-back threes. Drops one right there.
Castro trying to lay it down inside. It's going to stay with Madison Park.
Castro, he got to take that shot. I mean, Thompson, right. Thompson might get a block, or Thompson might foul him. I mean, the way that Madison Park has had such a tough time converting on passes like that. So now Thompson's going to take a little bit of a break.
Osasu Ogiron now back in as Thompson gets a breather for Latin Academy. Corner 3 for Constantine Thompson. He can't hit it. Santos dribbling through pressure. It's now a 3-on-2 for Latin Academy. Santos gets it swatted away. McLean over to Cassius. Are they going to count the hoop? Yes, they do. Did he get the foul as well? Nope, they're just going to count the hoop.
There's no whistle for a foul, but the hoop counts.
So Cassius able to score off the backboard at the buzzer. So Latin Academy on top, 39-29. We're going to head to break, folks. When we come back, we'll have the fourth quarter here at Latin Academy High School. This is cooking up to be a good one. Make sure you stick around.
We just finished dinner and it was time for homework.
He hates homework.
It makes no sense.
I don't know how he finds anything in his backpack.
I can't find my backpack.
I couldn't even read his handwriting.
Holding the pencil makes my hand hurt.
I know he's bright.
Why is it so hard for me?
He's
I'm
just
trying
gotta
as
try a
hard
little
as
harder.
I can.
When you can see learning and attention issues from their side, you can be on their side. Go to understood.org, a free online resource with support and tools to help your child thrive.
Welcome back to Latin Academy High School in Dorchester for Game of the Week. Latin Academy on top of Madison Park, 38-29. And folks, if you want to follow us on social media, you can go to our Facebook page. Go to facebook.com/GameOfTheWeekBoston. A lot of good stuff up there. You can also follow us on Twitter at Boston City TV. And if you want to tweet at us, use the hashtag BostonGOW. Just about ready to start the fourth quarter here at Latin Academy. Guys, there you see head coach Dan Bunker of the Latin Academy Dragons, looking to get his 3rd win of the season here at home. Dragons with a 9-point lead. There's Dennis Wilson, head coach of Madison Park.
Must be feeling a little better with the effort. I mean, they got only 11 points in the first half. They had, 18 points in that third quarter alone.
Only cut into the lead by 2 as they were down by 11 at the half. Madison's going to have to keep that defensive pressure up. Aiden unable to hit that 3. Thompson chasing after the rebound. Aiden then inside to Ali, who gets fouled inside.
He's so long and rangy. Ali can just create contact, draw a lot of fouls. You got to work on his free throws. And again, so you still got that shot off, even though he had two players converging on him. Now he's been struggling with the free throw line. That's, again, it's just a sophomore, so he can work on that. But if he does bring that percentage up, I mean, I'm sure Danny Bunker will create plays for him to go to the basket to draw fouls.
Stuppard comes back in along with Santos as Thompson and Martinez head to the bench. And Ali 0 for 2 from the line, but Another rebound for Latin Academy. They now have 12 offensive rebounds in this game. It's poked away by Aiden. Swing it back to Santos. Santos on the drive. Can't finish it off the window. McLean stops, pops, and hits. Jaden's probably their best mid-range shooter.
Well, he has been tonight, that's for sure. Nobody else is having any kind of luck.
Stupper.
Good job, good job, good
Gets
job.
tied up. Stupper's been quiet since that first quarter.
22-5.
Clean on the drive. Put back from Singleton.
Wow, finally got one down.
Antoine Singleton.
Singleton's been working hard, rebounding on both ends. That time he's able to finish it up.
Santos, three, buries it for Latin Academy. Back to an 8-point lead for the Dragons.
Wow, nice pass.
McConico can't finish underneath, but he'll get 2 free throws.
Yeah, McConico actually did a good job of stepping right next to the basket. Bullet pass. Well, the bounce actually hurt him. That allowed the defense to get back to it.
Substitution as Muhammad Ali is going to get a breather for Latin Academy. Thinking Coach Bunker's saving him for the last few minutes of the game. As the rebound comes down to Stupper. Nemo to the corner, good swing. Aiden, another open look. Can't hit that one. Castro has to throw that one up, but he gets it to go.
But again, I like the aggressive drive because he had a good chance to draw a foul.
Shot no good that time from Stupper. McLean, no good on that three as the rebound comes down to Aiden. And Latin Academy wants to call a timeout here with 5:21 left to go in the fourth quarter. 6-point lead for Latin Academy.
Nice comeback for Madison Park. They looked like they were totally out of it in the first half.
And Madison has chipped away nicely, and our sideline reporter John Skudris has an update for us. John, what's happening on your end?
Thanks, Pat. Last time out of the third quarter, Coach Bunker for Latin Academy was preaching to his team that they need to limit the second chance opportunities. At that time, it was still about a 9-point lead. They ended up taking out center Makai Thompson, and the second chance opportunities grew for the Cardinals. They brought the lead down to 4 before Thompson came back in, and his size down low both on offense and defense was imposing enough to balloon the lead back up to double digits. Well, we're down back into single digits at 7 points right now because Thompson had been out of the game for a while. Muhammad Ali had done a fine job in his stay, but now with both back on the court for Bunker's squad, we'll see if that's enough to keep them on top of the Cardinals in the waning moments of this affair. Back to you.
Thanks very much, John, and we'll see what kind of players Coach Bunker goes to down the stretch in this game.
Because
they really don't have a set lineup.
There you go. There you go. He's just going to go by who's playing well, who's out of foul trouble, who defends well. Because Bunker Hill, Latin Academy does such a good job with their rebounding on both ends, offense and defense. He'll want those kind of guys in the game.
Stupper gets grabbed on his way to the rim.
Yeah, Madison doesn't have their years, the classes on their roster, but not much of a guess. But Singleton's a very young player.
I think Singleton's a freshman.
Very young player, but he has a lot of potential with his size and his rebounding. The way he has good timing with rebounding, and he's just having he struggled holding the ball the first half. He does, I think, have 6 points, so he's made contributions.
Stufford with a good drive and a finish for Latin Academy.
Latin Academy's,
Stolen away by Stufford, and he gets fouled on his way to the rim.
I'll tell you that. Yeah, Walker just passed the ball right into that trap.
You see Stufford off the steal. And their struggles continue. They're now 1 for 10 from the free throw line.
You know, Pat, we talked about with Madison Park starting off the season with 2 wins. They had an 11-point win over West Roxbury, and they had an 8-point win over East Boston. So again, sometimes that can really fool or it can deceive you to think that you have more than you really have.
That's right.
And like you said, counting the Crystal Ray loss, they had 4 losses. Get it up.
Inside to Conoco. Now it's Joshua Cassius able to convert underneath for Madison Park. Stufford, another nice finish for him.
So that's the kind of controlled finish you want to have. Wasn't rushed, used the backboard.
Coming up on 4 minutes left in the fourth quarter as McLean.
Just another foul.
Forcing the action there.
That's either 3 or 4 on him. Yeah, it might be, bonus now. Now, Madison Park, like we mentioned before, is not shot free throws that well. They're shooting better than Latin Academy is, though. As a matter of fact, Latin Academy has allowed Madison Park to stay in the game because of the poor free throw shooting.
McLean does not hit the front end. That gets tapped out of bounds. That time by Cassius, so that'll go back to Latin Academy. And another cross-court pass that was stolen away. McConaughey, and Lawson's going to be whistled for the foul.
Well, again, good effort by McConaughey. Steal at the half court, and then have a strong drive to the basket. But none of it doesn't do any good if you don't make the free throws. And that's what Dennis Wilson over his years understands. You have to get that into the heads of his players for the rest of the season. It's great to play with energy. It's great to create contacts. And Cassius, Cassius stepped in.
Yeah, there's a lane violation there on Madison.
Yeah.
And we're going to foul on Madison Park. That's on Jakari Walker. Coach Wilson sees his team starting to unravel a little bit as they've cut into the lead. So he takes the timeout here with 3:53 left to go here in the fourth.
That's a perfect description.
32 years of coaching.
A big ball of
yarn.
Of yarn. Right?
The thread's starting to come out a little bit for the Cardinals.
It's all maroon, right?
9-point lead for Latin Academy. And right now the Dragons, again, they don't really have that go-to guy at the end of the game, but each guy is sort of contributing in their own way.
That nice baseline drive by Nemo the last two plays ago was key because it helped to sort of stem a run, and then the run from Madison didn't continue because they missed the free throws. So you're talking about, actually, they basically missed four in a row because after 3 misses, then they had the violation. So that's 4 chances you had to get 4 points, you got none. But again, young teams, I mean, basketball coaches always talk about how it's frustrating, but it's just one of the things you have to live with. Because everything goes in cycles. One year you'll have, 4 good juniors and 3 good seniors. Another year you'll have maybe 5 good seniors. But some years it comes like this. I think Bunker has 1 senior, he does have some other parts, a few juniors who've been around, and like you said, those guys who came up from JV who are now playing varsity and getting a lot of minutes. They now understand the system.
Latin Academy with 1 senior, 4 juniors, 6 sophomores, and 4 freshmen. There's another steal that time, but Cassius unable to hit, Shikari Walker unable to hit the layup.
Yeah.
Ahmad Ali getting ready to check back in for Latin Academy. Lawson on the drive, scores off the backboard. McLean off the jump stop, no good. Rebound comes down to Cassius. Now back out to Castro. Joshmani gets it blocked by Lawson. That's going to go back to Latin Academy.
They call a timeout. Dunker's now going to tell them how he wants them to attack this double team. Because the double team is going to come from everywhere. You know, you have a very desperate Madison Park team. They got 3 minutes left, down double digits. So there's no doubt they're going to scramble, double, reach, just try to get the ball. So you got to be strong with the ball. This is a good time to tell your team, don't forget, ball fake. Give them a ball fake. That's going to make them move. It'll open up a teammate for you. So this last 3 minutes is just about execution for Latin Academy. Just keep the ball. They have enough points. I mean, we haven't seen Madison really run off any long string of points, especially now they haven't been shooting their free throws that well. So it's tough sledding for Madison, but the energy is what's gonna keep them in it. They can get a few more steals. They can find a way to finish. Then
a couple of and ones.
There you go. Yeah, if that's the type of thing. But they've got a steal, beautiful steal, nice 2-on-1. Couldn't finish the layup.
Certainly a good teaching moment here for this young Latin Academy team, too, when you had how to sort of play the end of the game when you have that lead. Like you mentioned, you don't have to pile up the points at this point.
You know, the funniest thing is coaches always go through this sequence in practice, where a lot of times players just don't take it as seriously as they need to, because they're not sure if they're ever going to be in it.
Here comes Stuppert. That time he couldn't finish the drive. Thompson, rebound, gets his shot blocked. A lot of contact, no call. Here comes McLean. Jaden looking inside, now back up top to Castro.
They have a shooter out there somewhere.
Crazy finish inside. Walker wasn't able to complete the layup. Now it's Lawson going to slow it up for the moment for Latin Academy. Thompson out to Santos. Santos again off the front rim, back out to Lawson. Lawson on the drive. That goes out of bounds, going to stay with Latin Academy. Lawson now back up top to Stuppert. Nemo on the drive.
See, you get Madison forced to go to man, but they also have to help out whenever there's a drive. They have to react to every pass.
Lawson's got to get it in. It's stolen away by Castro. Madison had a 3-on-2. Castro gets bumped at the top of the key. You tell some of these Latin Academy young guys are also sort of, late in this game, are they saying, we got this lead. Should we stay aggressive and keep going to the rim, or should we kind of keep it back out? They're kind of in between right now.
Yeah, definitely seeing that. I mean, in your head, you're saying, this is an open shot I usually take. Should I take it because we're ahead and we want to kill the clock?
Castro unable to hit the front end of the 1-on-1. Madison has been much better at the free throw line tonight, but the last couple of trips with the 1-on-1s, they have not been able to convert the front end.
Those are killers. Those are killers.
Ali over to Thompson, the big fella, getting fouled inside.
That's an aggressive drive with that size of his. He actually wiped out Cassius. Took the foul.
Thompson knocks down the first.
Wow.
2 for 2 from the line is Makai Thompson.
The first time tonight, 2 for 2.
And that pass sails over everybody for Madison Park. Substitution for Madison as Jose Flores, excuse me, comes back into the ball game.
Yeah, frustrating night for Castro. We talked about him in the open. He's probably their most under control player and their main point guard, but I think that foul trouble in the first half really hurt him. It made him sit most of the second quarter, and even though he actually started get that run going in the third quarter with 3 quick assists, overall, I know he's disappointed with tonight's game.
Yeah, Madison had that one stretch where they got it down to about 4.
Yeah, it was an 8-0 run. Yeah.
And that 8-0 run to start the third quarter, and then just couldn't continue it throughout the second half. That was the front end of a 1-and-1. The only person that knew it was Ali, but it's Madison back down the other end, and now it's the Cardinals chasing for the loose ball. They're going to call it travel on Cassius. Latin Academy trying to hang on to a 13-point lead. Minute and a half left to go here in the fourth quarter. Stuppard can't knock down the short jumper. McLean, nice feed inside, but Cassius unable to finish. Now it's up to Santos. He's got an open layup. Converts for the Dragons.
Well, like you said, Pat, you had the Dragons were able in the end to grab control and then possess the ball when they had to. Nice play.
Nice job by Muhammad Ali.
Nice way to finish.
Extends their lead to 17. And wholesale substitutions for Latin Academy as several guys coming into the ball game for the Dragons.
They'll be happy with the third win.
And you got to think this Dragon team can only get better as the season goes on, as these younger players who are their main guys.
They have a system.
You know,
I think it, like you said, the confidence of, okay, plays junior varsity, so step up to varsity against bigger, faster players and try to run the same system. That's the key. A lot of it's in the head, especially for the first half of the season. Now they're approaching the halfway mark, but at the same time, like you said, you just want to see your players develop to the point where they're making the right play and making the right decisions.
And all for Madison Park. They're still in search of their third win of the season. I mentioned Castro, McLean, some guys that you can sort of hang on to. McConico had a nice game today. You saw Cassius make a few plays. Singleton had a bunch of rebounds.
They have the energy. The energy's there, and believe me, that's not always a given. A lot of times when a team knows they aren't that talented, you don't get this kind of energy. But this Madison Park team does give the effort.
Putback is good that time for Josh Cassius.
That's going to be it.
54-39, Latin Academy hangs on to win over Madison Park here at Latin Academy High School in Dorchester. Very good game across the board for the Dragons, who we knew coming in were one of those teams that shared the ball well, had a lot of different contributors. Nobody that was really the superstar for their team, and we saw that out on the floor tonight. A lot of guys did a lot of good things for this Dragon basketball team.
Oh, no doubt about it. We're situated right next to the Latin Academy bench, so we can hear Danny Bunker a lot during his timeouts. And it's good to see him. Even as young players, all the players were doing exactly what he said. I mean, obviously you can make mistakes. There's a lot of a few mental mistakes, a lot of physical mistakes. But for the most part, the system they're trying to run on offense and on defense, like you said, whoever came in, sort of tried to plug themselves in and do the right thing.
That's right. We saw that out on the floor. A lot of guys made a lot of contributions on rebounds, points, assists, you name it. It's going to be tough to pick an MVP. We're going to do that over the next couple of minutes. Right now, we're going to head to break. When we come back, we will have our MVP of this game and our final stats here from Latin Academy High in Dorchester right after these words. Don't go away.
Did you know dragging chains can spark a wildfire?
Only you can prevent wildfires.
We cannot be bystanders.
We can stop to make sure someone is okay.
We can warn someone when their drink isn't safe.
And disrupt the situation.
We can.
Get someone a cab.
Or walk them home safely.
We can make campuses safer for our friends.
Our roommates.
Our classmates. Our fellow human beings.
We cannot be bystanders.
We can. Intervene.
It's on us.
All of us.
Learn how and take the pledge at itsonus.org.
Look at you. You're at the top of your game. You're unstoppable. Nothing can throw you off track. Wait, is that your car? Uh-oh. Yeah, I saw that coming. That will throw you off track. You're looking at around 10 grand in fines, legal fees, and increased insurance rates. Let's try this again. Smart move. Because buzz driving is drunk driving.
Hey, you.
Yeah, you. Getting that college education? What are you gonna do? Graduate and take some office job? Be like everybody else? Or will you dare do something different? Like be a teacher. You could be my teacher. You got the skills. The smarts? Yes, you. You could be the teacher I never forget. That'd be cool. Does that corporate job even have recess? What are you gonna make of yourself? What are you gonna make of me?
Here we go. We're gonna go out there in the rain. You're gonna get wet. All right, here we go. Okay, good. Oh yeah, yes. So much fun. Mwah. So wet.
Foster safety. Foster hope. Foster joy. Foster curiosity. Foster support. Become a foster parent. Because every parent makes a difference. Foster, Massachusetts.
Hey, look, it's those guys. Are you good to drive?
I'm fine.
How many did you have?
I should be fine.
You should be.
Go and step out of the vehicle for me.
See ya, buddy. Good luck.
So turns out, buzz driving and drunk driving, they're the same thing, and it costs around $10,000. So not worth it.
First time I tried Vicodin, it was laying around my mom's house. And then I kept taking them whenever I could get them. I didn't know they'd be this addictive. I didn't know how far I'd go to get more.
Opioid dependence can happen after just 5 days. Know the truth, spread the truth.
So there you are, shuffling through a stack of resumes and you come to mine. This is it, first impression, my way in. But can my resume show you how I truly stand out? Like that I was studying, going to night school while working 2 jobs just to help my parents pay for groceries. Or being the first one to always step up. No, that's something you just can't put on paper. Look beyond the resume and discover new ways to develop great talent that is dedicated, hardworking, and determined like me.
Welcome back to Latin Academy High School in Dorchester. At the conclusion of Game of the Week, the Latin Academy Dragons took down the Madison Park Cardinals 54-39 here at Latin Academy High. The Dragons earned their 3rd win of the season. And as we mentioned, a lot of different guys who played well. Nemo Stuppard played well. You had the big guy, Muhammad Ali, who played well. You had Aiden, who knocked down a bunch of threes for Latin Academy. I think 3 or 4, a couple of big ones, especially in the first half. But it was really Mason Lawson who, throughout the game,
all around, yeah.
Sort of all-around game,
both
controlled
ends of
the
floor.
flow,
Right.
really did a nice job. He had a lot of nice defensive plays. We saw him with a great poke steal on the second half there. He is our MVP tonight, and he is with our sideline reporter, John Skudras. John, take it away.
Thanks, Pat. John Scuders courtside here with our hero of the game, Mason Lawson, as well as the winning coach, Dan Bunker. And we'll start with you, Mason. 10 points, 8 rebounds, 8 assists tonight. A fine performance running the show from the point guard position for your squad. Coming into play today, you guys know this is a tough team. You played a lot over the years in Madison Park. What was your mindset coming into play today against this Cardinals team?
I knew they were going to play tough. I knew that we had to be the better team, play as a team. My teammates did a good job getting open. I was just being the point guard, find them, looking for my own shot if I needed to. We just played better team ball, in my opinion.
Absolutely. And coming into this season, you guys lost a lot of your depth from last year, stepping into a bigger role, a lot more minutes. How much has the confidence that Coach Bunker has instilled in you to run this show really helped you as a ball player?
I feel like we have a younger team. We have more time to build our core. As we all get older, we're going to build a better chemistry through the years. We're all very young, so we're going to have a lot of years to make ourselves better.
Absolutely. Plenty of time left, which for you and your teammates to grow. Last one for you. We'll let you go back and celebrate with your teammates. A new year, a new opportunity here in the couple of games to start January 2019. What's your personal goal for the rest of your campaign?
Trying to better myself academically and on the basketball court. Trying to build just a better mindset and grow as a person.
Well, that's a great mindset. Wish you the best in the future, Mason. Great game today. Mason Lawson, our hero of the game here on the Boston Neighborhood Network. 10 points, 8 boards, 8 assists. Coach Bunker, you joined me at halftime. You said that you liked what you saw, but your team needed to do a better job hitting those open shots and creating shots for yourselves. You guys had a tenuous lead at halftime. You ended up losing a bit of that and then ballooned it out to double digits and ended up winning, putting up 55 points. What'd you like from your team overall in this game?
I thought the energy overall was pretty good. It just wasn't as clean as I would like, clean of a game. I thought we did have way too many turnovers, and we gave them some second chances that luckily they weren't able to capitalize on. But we just need to clean it up, I think, a little bit better.
Absolutely, and you were talking to your team at one of the timeouts in the third quarter when they had narrowed that deficit down, talking about the second chances were what was killing you to start the second half. You ended up putting Thompson and Ali out there, and both of them did fine when they were out there alone, but when they're out there together, it gives you a real edge over a lot of the teams in this league. Talk a little bit about the depth that you've continued to grow here in the front court to go along with the great backcourt led by Mason.
Yeah, I thought Makai did a really good job when he was out there defensively today, just taking up space. He's played with us for a while now. He's a big kid. He did a good job. Muhammad didn't have his best game offensively today, but he gives us so much on the defensive end, talking, energy, constantly flying around. He's a really versatile player that we really need.
Absolutely. A lot of versatile players on your team. We just spoke to Mason, who had 10 points, 8 boards, 8 assists from the backcourt. And you talk about the amount of talent you have at both sides of that court. Now, for you guys, a big win here in the City League, an opportunity to get your wings spread here moving forward into the second half of the campaign in 2019. I asked Mason what his personal goal was the rest of the year. What's your goal as a team here the rest of the 2019 season?
Just to keep learning. We're a young team. We have Makai's our only senior. A lot of guys. This is basically our JV team from last year, who had a very successful JV team last year. Came up, and I really like these guys. guys, coaching these guys, because they have good chemistry on the court. They enjoy playing with each other.
Yeah, piggybacking off of that, last year your JV team was outstanding, and you were hesitant to call any of those guys up to varsity because you wanted them to build that chemistry together that they could take with them. Do you see that bearing fruit here in the 2019 year?
Oh yeah, they came in with confidence. I wanted them to build confidence, and they had confidence. I mean, Mason has confidence. Tiano, as you can see, 113 pounds of confidence. Yep. So Muhammad confidence, and that was kind of built on from last year.
Absolutely. Well, Coach, great win today. 16-point triumph. Nothing wrong with that. Great start to 2019. Best of luck the rest of the way. That's Coach Dan Bunker. We'll be talking to him, I'm sure, again in the future here on the Boston Neighborhood Network. But for tonight, what a performance by his squad. All players that played tonight for Latin Academy contributing in a 55-39 triumph over their rivals from Madison Park. A victory for Dan Bunker, a victory for Latin Academy, and a victory for you at home, who saw an outstanding battle between two of the best City League teams tonight. That's it from courtside for me. Let's head back to Pat and Alan to wrap things up over on this courtside with the finalization.
Thanks very much, John. And Coach Bunker said it before. He really likes coaching this team. And you can see why. I mean, because these guys played together so much in JV, and even Coach Bunker mentioned last year he did have the opportunity to bring a couple of these guys up, but he didn't want to because he didn't want to break up that chemistry that they had in JV. So now these guys all come up together, and you can see how well they play together out on the floor.
It doesn't happen that often that you're able to have a very good JV team. And regardless of what's happening on the varsity level, because they were a little down last year, when you can look forward to this season and say, okay, if all these guys come up together, let me keep them as a cohesive unit. That's what's happened. His biggest coaching job and his assistants for the year is to just convince these guys, look, you are now good varsity players. Right. Okay, we're going to play against some big teams. We're going to play against some older kids, some more juniors and seniors, but you're still a good varsity team. And once they really pick that up, then like you said, they like each other. And I mentioned that during the games. A lot of times, coaches just hope that as the players that are coming up, your junior, your JV guys, you just hope that they like each other. And this is the case here at Latin Academy.
No question. You can see it there out on the floor. Let's take a look at the final stats from this ball game before we sign off from Latin Academy High in Dorchester. And first up, it's going to be the Madison Park Cardinals.
Yeah, Madison, tough night offensively pretty much all night. McLean ended up with 9. You had Cassius with 8. Tough 8 for Cassius because he was working hard, especially on defensive backboard. Rebounds, Singleton, the young kid, like you said, you think he might be a freshman. 10 rebounds, just had a tough time holding the ball a lot of times. 7 of those 10 rebounds were offensive rebounds, so I know Dennis Wilson wants to build on that. McConaughey with 8 rebounds. 5 assists for Castro, even though he had limited time with the foul trouble. And Thompson also had 3 assists.
One little tidbit about Singleton, that is Raheem Radio Singleton's cousin.
Oh, that right?
So
okay.
Raheem, who was an outstanding player at Madison Park, went on to the University of Maine in that push documentary about Madison. That's his cousin, so certainly good bloodlines for Antoine. A lot of potential, like you mentioned, in him. Let's take a look at the Latin Academy final stats before we sign off, and there you see it.
Okay, we talked about Ali, and Dan Bunker just mentioned to John about Ali does so much. Had 13 points, and Bunker considered that an offensive night for him. Well, we can expect more. Aiden with 11 rebounds. Ali, there you go, 9, using that length of his. And Lawson with 8 rebounds. Assists, Lawson had 10. And Thompson, the big fella, he was aggressive when he really needed to be. But his 4 assists from that middle spot bodes really well, to help these younger players, because he is the only senior on the team.
Definitely sort of did whatever the team needed throughout this game here at Latin Academy High. So, folks, if you want to follow us throughout the year, next week we're going to be over at Charlestown High School as the O'Brien Tigers and Rivaldo Soares, one of the best players in the city, will be taking on Charlestown Townies and their new head coach, but not new to anybody else. That's Hugh Coleman, former Charlestown standout and great state champion coach over at Brighton. So that should be a good one next week on Friday the 11th at 6 p.m. over at Charlestown High. You can watch it live on Boston City TV, Comcast 24, RCN 13, and Verizon 1962. You can also watch it from our YouTube site as well. Should be a good one. And folks, if you want to follow us on our social media pages, we want to thank you very much for joining us. You can certainly follow us on our website, cityofboston.gov/game of the week. All the games from football season are up there, and the basketball games will pile up as the season goes along. You can also follow us on Facebook. Go to facebook.com/game of the week Boston. A lot of good things up on our Facebook page. Make sure you like us there. You can also follow us on Twitter at Boston City TV. And if you want to tweet at us, use the hashtag BostonGOW. First game down. We got a lot more coming up. Like we mentioned, we'll be at Charlestown next week, and these games will keep rolling along every Friday night in the city until we get to that city championship at the Matadome at Madison Park during February vacation. But for right now, we're going to say so long from Latin Academy High. We'll see you next time here on Game of the Week. Take care, everybody.